All of us know that Disney's California Adventure was sort of a flop when it debuted at the Disneyland Resort in 2001, but one of the biggest flops in that theme park was Paradise Pier. It did have a troubled history, but it also brought some great favorites to this day. But now there are no signs of Paradise Pier other than IPs taking over its former location. Today, let's break down the history of what used to be Paradise Pier and is now Pixar Pier. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to SoCal Exploring, your stop for all things theme park and attraction related. If you're new here, subscribe with those bell notifications on. Check us out on social media, both Instagram and Twitter, down in the description below. And you guys can also check out our merchandise shop where you can cop yourself some SoCal Exploring merchandise by clicking the link down in the descriptions. We have masks on there, we have stickers on there, and we also have shirts and other apparel on that website. If you want to help out the channel further with helping us produce higher quality theme park content, donate to our Buy Me a Coffee page today, buymeacoffee.com/SoCalExploring, to help us produce that higher quality theme park content for you all to enjoy, like the video that you're watching right now. In February of 2001, Disney's California Adventure, the second gate to the Disneyland Resort, officially opened up to the public. Now, the theme park introduced many different themed lands and had that California feel to the complete theme park, but one thing that seemed to be a flop in the flop itself was Paradise Pier. Let's talk about that. Now, I want to preface this by saying I do like a lot of what Paradise Pier had to offer, and I don't think that it should have gotten changed to Pixar Pier. I actually favor Paradise Pier a little bit more than Pixar Pier. I just think that it brought a little bit more to the table, especially since the theme park is called California Adventure, but we'll get into that a little bit down the way. Paradise Pier opened up with a park. It was based on a seaside amusement park with classic boardwalk attractions and other experiences / restaurants / shops. It just had that boardwalk type of feel, similar to stuff that we see with the Santa Cruz Boardwalk, the Santa Monica Pier, and other stuff like that. Rides and attractions that the land opened up with included California Screamin', Maliboomer, the Sun Wheel, the Orange Stinger, Jumpin' Jellyfish, Golden Zephyr, Mulholland Madness, and Golden Dreams. California Screamin' was definitely the eye catcher when guests turned the corner and saw Paradise Pier. California Screamin' is a great coaster that we still have to this day. However, it's no longer called California Screamin', it is called Incredicoaster. But honestly, California Screamin' was one of my favorite attractions when it was still around. The soundtrack that they played and just the overall feel of your energy rushing and your adrenaline rushing while riding this attraction was so much fun, and the open tunnels was so much fun as well because you actually got to get a great aerial view of the complete Paradise Pier and even all of DCA, whereas nowadays the tunnels are closed up and you can't see that view at all. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I just much rather prefer California Screamin' over anything that would be rethemed over it, including the Incredicoaster. The Maliboomer, a space shot type of free fall attraction that had plexiglass on the ride seats. You know, if this attraction was still around today, it'd definitely be COVID-19 safe. A little inside joke if you're watching in 2020 right now. But these plexiglass guards were meant to, well, they were meant to prevent the screams from echoing out to the Anaheim neighborhood and all the houses around it, so they wouldn't disturb those houses / the people living in those houses, because people would scream all the time on this attraction. And I don't know if that's the exact reason why they were there, but as far as I know, that's literally the reason why they were there. Jumpin' Jellyfish we still have to this day. It's a great kiddie attraction, but honestly I think that it needs to go. The Orange Stinger I remember as a kid and I thoroughly enjoy a lot. It was a unique swinging ride, right? Because now you get with Silly Symphony Sings, you get a view of the whole pier and everything, but honestly with the Orange Stinger it just felt more enclosed, because it was enclosed, you were in a giant orange, and I think it was just more fun. There's just something about the swings being enclosed in that orange that would just made it a little bit more fun. I don't know, I guess you'd have to ride it to get that same feel that I did. The Golden Zephyr, of course, we still have around to this day. It's a great attraction, great family attraction, and to this day I still enjoy it thoroughly. And Golden Dreams was a show with Whoopi Goldberg talking about California's history. It was a little bit boring, but at times it was fun as well. It was great for hot sunny days in California to, go out there and enjoy the AC inside, but the Golden Dreams was just kind of an odd looking show. And then of course Mulholland Madness, which was based on the bustling streets of Mulholland Drive in Los Angeles, and it was Goofy's Sky School. It is the exact same layout, however Mulholland Madness just fit with the overall theme of the area back then. Also during the first couple years of the land, Paradise Gardens Park area that we know to this day was actually themed around Route 66 vaguely, but once Cars Land came around there was really no point to have that Route 66 theme, which we'll also get into a little bit later on, but it was themed to Route 66 just very, very, very vaguely. Now overall I think that this first version of the land just wasn't good. It wasn't enough to bring guests back to riding these different attractions and just going back and having that same fun that they had on the very first time. However, the views were incredible. Between having California Screamin' there, Maliboomer, and of course the Sun Wheel with the giant sun on the front, I thoroughly enjoyed the views. I think that the views were great and it represented the theme of Disney's California Adventure more than anything. But slowly but surely Disney started to edge away from that California theme. And when did they start making these notable changes? Well, we'll talk about that right now. Disney realized that this was kind of a flop, and I will agree myself that the first version was kind of a flop, so then they started to make progress on making a second version and kind of making it more modern. Instead of going with that classic Boardwalk feel, they made it more of a classic Victorian style. It still had that Boardwalk feel to it, but it was just more of a Victorian theme. And the big reason that they did this is because beforehand they just had kind of like tacky gift shops, kind of tacky decor here and there. Some of it wasn't tacky, some of it I think actually fit a lot with Paradise Pier, but a lot of it was very, very tacky, and it just didn't really work out and just kind of looked weird being there in a Disney theme park. I mean, in the early stages of Paradise Pier there was a McDonald's. I believe it was called a different restaurant, but they were serving McDonald's in a Disney theme park. When do you ever see that? There's also a fast food restaurant that was called Burritos. Not really a smart move at all. I get what they were trying to do, but it just sounded dumb rolling off your tongue. One thing that a lot of people didn't like was the giant dinosaur sunglass shack. I like this. I thought this was cool, and I thought this was a perfect photo opportunity. Honestly, if it was around to this day, I think it'd be a perfect Instagram spot for guests to snap pictures in front of and share their experience at Disney's California Adventure. However, now we just have a very, very small sunglass shack in that area. Not that a lot of people really have a high demand of sunglasses at the Disneyland resort, but it was just cool to see this giant dinosaur, a giant purple dinosaur that is. Actually no, it was kind of pink. Some could argue that it was purple, but honestly it looks pink from the pictures and from what I can remember. So the first big noticeable change was the addition of Toy Story Midway Mania in 2008. And what does this replace? Well, it replaced the Mala Burritos. Yes, no more Mala Burritos, right? But the first big change was Toy Story Mania being added to the land, and we know as Disney fans that this was the turn in either the wrong or the right direction. We could see that IPs were slowly going to take over eventually. And if you guys aren't familiar with the term IPs, it's intellectual properties, basically any movie, TV show, anything like that. Between 2008 and 2009, Disney started to completely retheme the pier to that classic Victorian style that we were talking about a little bit earlier in the video, while also bringing a retheme of the Sun Wheel to making it Mickey's Fun Wheel, while also adding Disney characters to the Boardwalk games. So the Sun Wheel went bye-bye. That was also themed to the California feel of California Adventure. However, now they put a giant Mickey face on the front of it, themed it to Mickey's Fun Wheel, and there is no reminiscence of the Sun Wheel at all other than just the actual attraction. And also, like I said, Mickey characters were added to the Boardwalk games. The different restaurants and shops were themed a little bit more around that area, and it just seemed like Disney was really trying to push getting characters into this land other than just keeping it to the theme of Paradise Pier. And honestly, I was fine with this. I still enjoyed Paradise Pier. I still loved it, and I was like, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. However, if I knew about the future, then I would go back and say, no, it is kind of a big deal. The Space Shop Maliboomer randomly closed down in 2010, and that was just the beginning of the different attractions in this area being removed. Golden Dreams, the show, was replaced by Ariel's Undersea Adventure in 2011, and this was also another IP coming in and taking over an original attraction that opened up with the themed land. Mulholland Madness was also replaced by Goofy's Sky School in 2011, another complete retheme, nothing new about decided just a complete retheme. And of course, the orange stinger had to go away and was replaced by Mickey's Symphony Swings. One big change that did come to the land that was actually a really positive change was the brand new nighttime spectacular, The World of Color, which first premiered in 2011. This show looked absolutely promising, this show looked absolutely exciting, and Disney fans were absolutely pumped for this show. And rightfully so, because to this day it's still one of the best nighttime spectaculars at the Disneyland Resort, and I'd say one of the best nighttime spectaculars at all the Disney theme parks. I love the World of Color, and I love all the different versions of the World of Color. However, the original World of Color is probably the best World of Color that we will ever see at DCA. Flash forward a couple years forward, there are a couple entertainment shows placed in that area, you know, a couple events, temporary events that happen here and there on Paradise Pier, but nothing too notable to mention. However, it was announced in 2017 that Paradise Pier was going to be replaced in early 2018 to make way for Pixar Pier. And I know a lot of people would disagree with me on this, but I was very sad when they said that they were going to replace Paradise Pier with Pixar Pier. However, there's always going to be change in theme parks, and especially in the Disney theme parks, so I just had to be open to the change and see what Disney had to offer with Pixar Pier. The concept art and all the trailers and all the models look very promising, and I was extremely excited for Pixar Pier to finally open up. It only took them 5 months to do the refurbishment between Paradise Pier to Pixar Pier, and with that big overlay came different neighborhoods. We have a Toy Story neighborhood, we have an Incredibles themed neighborhood, and we have an Inside Out themed neighborhood. Now in the former Malibu location, we have Inside Out Emotional Whirlwind, which took them a whole nother year to open up. In the Toy Story area, we have different themed little small quick service restaurants, and in the Incredibles area, we obviously have a new meet and greet there, a new fountain. We have the Incredicoaster that replaced California Screamin', which me personally, Incredicoaster does not compare at all to California Screamin'. They didn't change it at all, really. There's not a lot that they added to it besides the audio and the different statues that you see throughout the attraction. But yeah, me personally, I still prefer California Screamin' over Incredicoaster any day of the week. We also saw King Triton's Carousel get replaced with Jesse's Critter Carousel, which it really isn't a notable change. It's just one of those things that had to be done because they're retheming everything to Pixar Pier. And yeah, that's about it really. They repainted all of the gondolas on Mickey's Fun Wheel and changed it into Pixar Pal Around, which is kind of a funky, cheesy name, but hey, I guess it works. And now we have Pixar Pier, which is, in my personal opinion, I like Pixar Pier. I just wish that Paradise Pier stuck around a little bit more and they just updated it and made it more modern instead of keeping that old Victorian style and that tacky boardwalk style that they first started off with. You know, when some stuff already needs to be changed, like Ariel's Undersea Adventure, Goofy Sky Skull, all those little flat rides that we see in the Paradise Gardens Park area, I'd love to see them theme something along the lines of Coco, maybe a whole theme land right there, and replace Ariel's Undersea Adventure with a Coco Omni Mover attraction. I think that should be Disney's next big move with Disney's California Adventure. Honestly, I just think that it'll work around that area, but I completely doubt that will happen anytime in the near future, especially with the budget being very low for Disney right now due to the COVID closures. Now, that was my quick history on Paradise Pier at Disney's California Adventure. I want to know what you guys think of Paradise Pier down in the comment section below. Did you guys enjoy Paradise Pier? Do you guys prefer Paradise Pier over Pixar Pier, or do you prefer Pixar Pier over Paradise Pier? Let us know down in the comment section below. My name is Scott. You've been watching SoCal Exploring. Positivity is key, and most importantly, remember to keep exploring. Peace out, everybody.